Today I am doing a quick review of the new Farsight Enclaves Tau Codex Supplement. This one is the second edition. Unlike its predecessor, it is soft cover, so it's not a hardback, which is nice in terms of a cost standpoint. And yeah, overall, I think it is a far better value than the original. I still have some gripes with it, but overall, pretty good. Something that if you do not have the original or are just getting into Tau, you definitely will want to pick up. All right, so what's in it? Well, basically, it's a combination of things that are in these two books, the latest Tau Empire Codex and the original Farsight Enclaves Supplement. This guy, of course, only had about 2 pages of useful information and the rest was fluff. So incorporating this original content into the new book is not terribly difficult, nor surprising that it would be in here. There's lots of new art. Of course, I flipped to non-new art immediately, but there's a fair amount of new art, especially with regards to the 8. And this is probably my favorite section of the book in terms of artwork. Had some really nice dynamic poses for the 8, as well as little blips about them. So that's a nice feature. Moving on, it includes rules for the Dawnblade contingent, which had been leaked previously and were part of the MacLeod release as well. So that's pretty cool. And then it also has rules for the units that can be included in, or excuse me, not the units, the formations that can be included within the Dawnblade contingent. Notably, that does not include several formations from the MacLeod supplement. So if you're looking for the Riptide Wing and a couple other formations like that, they are not in here. I was actually pretty disappointed when I opened the book and found that, since the Riptide Wing was one of the main formations that I wanted to get out of this book. But sadly, it is only in MacLeod, and so you gotta do that or Battle Scribe in order to get the rules for it. So there's that. But of course, it has those 2 pages of useful rules from the original. So the warlord traits over here, those are unchanged, and then the signature systems, which for the most part are unchanged, except for a few minor updates, like that of Talisman of Arthas Moloch. Still gives a 5-up and vulnerable saves like it did, but now it adds 2 to the Deny the Witch roll, so you're denying on 4s instead of 6s. That is the same as the FAQ that was released a while ago, so it's nice to see that in print form. Another useful change is that signature systems can now be taken from the Codex Tau Empire list. Yes, that is actually a pretty large change, a pretty significant change, because it means that in addition to all these guys, you can take things like the PureTide Engram Neurochip and the multi-spectrum sensor suite and the command and control node. So those buff Mander signature systems can make it into your Farsight army without having to take a separate formation. The remainder of the rules pages do focus around the Dawnblade contingent for the most part, and you know, as shown in MacLeod, these are the formations that are covered in this book. So you have a Hunter Cadre, so a duplication from the original Tau Codex, the Retaliation Cadre, and then these guys, Headquarter Unit, the 8, Counter-Strike Cadre, Allied Advanced Cadre, your Superiority Cadre, Rapid Insertion Force, Firebase Support Cadre, Drone Net, that's a big one, that's a great asset to have in here. Piranha Firestream Wing, assigned for a cast asset, Sky Sweep Missile Defense, and Range Support Cadre. So those are the formations that are covered in this book, and goes on to provide those same similar familiar formations going forward here. And then it gets into the 8, which is presented in a nicer format than it was originally. They have some pretty cool rules in terms of giving the entire army stubborn, and then also being able to provides supporting fire for other members of the 8 within 24 inches and their units. So that is nice, although not really something that would really justify bringing all 8. I also wouldn't, having one model be able to provide additional supporting fire is not that great. However, I suppose if you did have all 8 on the board and they were all within 24 inches of the charged unit, that would add up pretty nicely. Let's see here. Yeah. So then there's the Altar of War. No one cares about that. And some tactical objectives at the end, which are pretty good for the most part. There are a few that revolve around close combat, which you're unlikely to achieve even with the Farsight army. But there are a few that revolve just around destroying units and doing so en masse. So if you, let's see, like the Concentration of Fire one is pretty nice. Score 1 victory point at the end of your turn if the first enemy unit attacked in your shooting phase is completely destroyed. Score D3 victory points instead if the first 2 are completely destroyed, and D3 plus 3 if the first 3. So if you can wipe out 3 units in a turn with this, that's a fair amount of victory points. So of course, if you're wiping out 3 units in a turn, you're probably in pretty good shape to begin with, but this really drives that home. So that's a pretty nice one, and the other ones are not bad as well. But yeah, overall, I think this is a much better value than the original one because it includes more than 2 pages of rules plus all that nice fluff, and it's a cheaper product to begin with because it is paperback. So I think I got mine for a little bit more than 20 bucks, which is, like I said, not bad. All right, so thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and of course, happy wargaming.